Hello, and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. Time to float! Happy Halloween weekend to you all! Happy birthday to me, 27 on the 27th. Oh my god, don't remind me, I'm now officially in my late 20s. Yikes! It's okay, I'm a man, right? Hey, there's good problems with it. Even if you're a woman, by the way, and you're 27, that's fine. So here we are to preview the Tennessee Titans against the Atlanta Falcons. By the way, I do have the Pennywise buttons and everything. I have the nice V-taper going on. The hoes will enjoy. Oh, I'm sorry, the 304s will enjoy tonight. It's Spooktober, you know? It's Halloween weekend. I love Halloween weekend. It's probably my favorite weekend out of the year next to, well, definitely my favorite, because I usually, Halloween weekend, yeah. Definitely like my favorite weekend or like holiday next to like New Year's and Christmas as well. So always have to go all out for it. Now, we are here, though, to do business. Tennessee Titans against the Atlanta Falcons. A very critical point for this franchise, specifically for this season, as we already discussed, if you didn't catch my video yesterday, about the Tennessee Titans adding Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, and basically anyone on the roster except for the young kids, onto the trading block, and also literally trading Kevin Byard to the Philadelphia Eagles, and then with the Ryan Tannehill injury, which we're going to get into, and we'll go ahead and start with the headlines. Will Levis expected to start? Now, it hasn't come down the pipeline as of, this is 11 a.m. Friday, so maybe, by the time the Titans are done with practice, Vrabel will come out and say Levis is a starter officially. But he still keeps saying that they're going to play both Levis and Willis. And I actually think he's telling the truth there to an extent. I do think you will see Malik Willis in there. I think you'll see him running on occasion, but also throwing on occasion to keep the defense on its toes. I would expect him, I think he's going to throw at least 3 or 4 passes. I actually really do believe that, and then run for 3 or 4 times as well, so like 50-50. But I expect Levis to ultimately be by far the primary thrower. And I said, whenever Malik Willis won the job, I believe that whenever it's push comes to shove, they're going to play Will Levis over Malik Willis. I said low-key I thought week 4 or 5, maybe week 3, and I need to pull up this footage, and I'll show you guys next time. I said, I don't even care if they say Malik Willis is the backup. I think when push comes to shove, they have to move on. They have to start looking at somebody. They're going to look at Levis because they picked him 33rd overall. They traded a draft pick for him. He's apparently Malik Willis was never Vrabel's guy. I mean, he complains about him all the time. Rand Carthon is Will Levis's guy, so they're going to give him a shot. And as I said in my video yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate in case you missed it. Look, I'm still not thrilled about the Will Levis pick. I still wouldn't have made the Will Levis pick. However, now that I look at the upcoming draft landscape, and everyone's going to tell you that, well, the draft is so stacked when it comes to quarterback. Well, okay, here's my opinion. I think you have the 2 definitive top 5 quarterback prospects in Drake May and Caleb Williams, and May still has his issues to me, but whatever. Williams has been struggling, but he's fine to me. I'm not worried about Williams. Shedeur Sanders is probably going to stay in school. He was another top 10 prospect to me. Outside of that, Quinn Ewers had a shot. He's hurt now. So when you look at the rest of the pot, you have Michael Penix and J.J. McCarthy. Those are the only 2 prospects, in my opinion, that I think I probably might end up having a higher grade on than Will Levis. And then maybe Quinn Ewers still, maybe. But it's not going to be a top 10 grade. I'll tell you that right now. There's no way I'm going to give Michael Penix or J.J. McCarthy, and probably not Quinn Ewers, probably, a top 10 grade. And we're going to probably be in the top 10. So you might as well just stick with Will Levis next year and then draft another talent at another position, whether that be tackle, corner, wide receiver. Give Will Levis the rest of this year. Give him next year. If he stinks, 2025, we'll start the conversation for whoever the hell that's going to be, because apparently it was supposed to be Drew Allar, and he's not good. So I guess it'd be Shedeur Sanders, and I'm down. If push comes to shove, I'm down. But hopefully we're not having that conversation. Hopefully Will Levis is able to prove himself. So I'm on the Will Levis. Okay, I'm not gonna say hype train. I'm just like, I'm here. I've succumbed to it. There's no avoiding it. I think it's basically a wrap. I mean, even if he doesn't play well, I mean, he'd have to play really poorly. Like, I think he has to have a negative touchdown to interception ratio, which no one does anymore, except for unless your name is like Zach Wilson. And right now, Ryan Tannehill. Like, that's the only way I see them potentially moving on from Will Levis and doing something else. He's going to have to look back. If he looks how Bryce Young has looked, which is 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but flashes, and that's through 6 games, he's going to be the star next year. So for Will Levis, that would be through 11 games. Let's say he has 11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He's going to be the star next year. So I've already succumbed to that. It is what it is. I just want to see what it looks like, and we're going to find out. So I'm rooting for the kid. I just want a better gimmick than this mayo crap, this mayonnaise crap. Look, I'm happy he got his bag, but I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, it's Mayo time. Let's go Mayo King. That's ridiculous. Come up with a better nickname, please. I mean, please, 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 please. I can't do it. It's too corny. Look, I could do some corny stuff, okay? Hello. But that's just a little too corny for me. I can't call you Mayo Boy. I can't say it's Mayo time. I can't do it, okay? I heard someone say Billy Jeans. I can get into that. It's a little corny, but it's not too bad. I can get it to Billy Jeans. I'm not doing Mayo Boy. I'm not doing it. I refuse. So we are going to see how he does. I'm rooting for him. But Malik Willis was awful at the end of the game against the Ravens. Now, you look at the stat line. He was 4 or 5 for 74 yards. But he was taking sacks. He didn't know what he was looking at. And, again, he just always has this face like he just doesn't know what's going on. It's just like, what's going on in this guy's head? So I'm out. And I was never really in. You know, I just wanted someone to challenge Tannehill, which then I was right because I told you the clock was ticking. So I was happy we at least took him last year because someone had to challenge Tannehill. Now, it wasn't him. I guess we should have took, I mean, as of right now, there's no one else we could have taken. Maybe Sam Howell, if you're believing in Sam Howell. I think they're kind of ruining him in Washington. He does have an arm. And Ritter was before us, but Ritter sucks. So, yeah, the whole draft was just awful. It was just Brock Purdy. Okay, I guess you could say Brock Purdy. I forgot about Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. He'd be irrelevant here. So, with that said, we will see how he does. I'm rooting for him. Now, we're going to get into this game because, let me tell you something. As I really started to sit down and study the Atlanta Falcons and prepare for this video, I was like, man... You see, and by the way, this is why I wish I could have, done my Ravens recap. Because the outrage was so ridiculous after that game. People are like, oh, time to tank. We're so terrible. I'm like, guys, we lost by 8 points. First of all, I have the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. That was my preseason pick. It's my current pick. Oh, and winning the Super Bowl. Let me also emphasize that. Literally the next week, blew out the Detroit Lions, who have been a good team all year. That loss did not bother me. It bothered me that Tannehill, threw that back-breaking interception in, what was it, the third quarter? That is what really bothered me. But, I mean, Lamar had some success. He's Lamar Jackson. The game wasn't that bad to me. The jet lag situation was also a factor, in my opinion. That didn't bother me. So the fact that we still look at this season and legitimately, and I'm not a coulda, woulda, shoulda guy, but legitimately this team should be 3-3. Legit, I rarely actually say a team should have won a game. The Titans should have won week 1, period. We all know that. Literally everyone, they should have won. If they made field goals or they hit open margins, period. It's not even close. They should have won the game. Oh, and the missed call, for the touchdown. They should have won the game. So literally right now, they should be sitting here 3-3. That's why I wouldn't have, by the way, I wouldn't have went into the season even trying to compete. But I was not sounding the horns necessarily saying, oh, my God, we think it's over. And then now we traded Kevin Byard. Let me tell you right now, after all the studying if Tannehill was healthy and Byard was on this team, I would 100% be picking us to win this game. And I don't know how close I'd be picking it. I think this would have easily been a win for us, to be honest. After really sitting down. Now, we're going to break it down. So we have a couple headlines, though. We also have Nicholas Petrie-Fair now being at left tackle. I predicted this. I said Andre Dillard, if he keeps playing this poorly, when NPF comes back, remember, he played left tackle at Ohio State. We thought he would translate better to right tackle. Why not put him at left tackle? See how he does, because, can he really be worse than Andre Dillard? So now he's there. Good. An opportunity for him. Boy, would I love for him to be a good left tackle. I'd love it. I'm already having my eyes on Notre Dame offensive tackle Joe Alt and Penn State offensive tackle Olu Fashanu. Also, J.C. Latham, Alabama, those offensive linemen as potential left tackles for us in the draft. If we don't have to take one of them, great. Although, to be honest, I think that'd be safer. But if we don't have to, because Nicholas Petrie-Fair just kills it, and then we can take, if we're that bad, which I don't think we're going to be, Marvin Harrison Jr., which I don't think we're going to be, or Kool-Aid McKinstry at corner or something like that. Although, I don't know. I'm starting to have some doubts about him the more tape I watch. We'll get into more prospects, obviously. Then I'd prefer it. I'd prefer to already have a left tackle steady. So he's going to have 11 games to prove himself, so we'll see what he does. All right. So we also have, the headline about the Titans on the trading block again. Watch my previous video yesterday if you haven't already on that. So with that said, let's look at the injury report for this game, where you already see Ryan Tannehill missing both practice. He's not going to play this game. I don't think he's going to play this game. If we win this, and then we have the Thursday night game next week, he's not going to play that one either. If we win one of these two games, I assume he'll be benched for the rest of the year. If we lose both of them, I don't know. It depends how we lose them. If we lose them badly and Vrabel's just like, wow, I actually might get fired, and he actually wants to keep his job, Tannehill might go back in there. But we'll see. We have to see. And that would require Levis and Willis to just stink up the show. It's possible. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's possible. All right, we also see Josh Wiley. Concussion. So this is not good to see for a guy that I want to see a little bit more. If he's had a catch here or there, which has been nice. But I'd like to see him, getting more reps, getting more snaps, getting more production. So that's tragic there. We'll see what happens with that. Traylon Burks is back, full participation. So he needs to show up. Okay, point blank period. He needs to show up. He needs to play. He needs to produce now, like immediately. Okay, because I compare him to Kenny Britt, and a lot of you guys on Twitter came at me, and you're right. Up to this point, he hasn't even shown what Kenny Britt has shown. Now, this is absurd. And I'm watching the Vikings on Monday Night Football, and I'm watching Jordan Addison, a rookie, that was drafted later than Burks, showing up for his quarterback. And I'm just like, why can't Burks make these sort of plays? And Addison, I'm not saying Addison's going to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver this year. He probably would be like, well, with the Justin Jefferson injury, maybe he's going to be like a 900. But at least, he's going to hit 700, 800 and, really show you something. Right now, I think he's up to maybe like almost 400. And, that's good. I'll take that from a rookie. I'll take that from, Traylon Brooks right now, for God's sake. And we're not even getting that. So hopefully, man, this guy starts to produce this week. We're going to need it as we have those young quarterbacks in there. Full participation from everyone else. Derrick Henry did not rest on Thursday. By the way, guys, this is normal. This is not Derrick Henry resting or them resting him because they're about to trade him. This is completely normal for him. Look at the Falcons. The only one of real notice is Tay Davis, the concussion. I expect him not to play. So not much from the injury report there that we don't already know. So let's look at my tighten up keys to the game. So let's start with number one. You have to protect Levis at all costs. The good news is it shouldn't be that hard. The Falcons, through 7 games, only have 13 sacks. Their leading sack man, I believe, is David Onyemata. One of their best pass rushers is our boy. Oh my God, that is Bud Dupree. Yeah, that's right. Another former Tennessee Titan finding himself on the Atlanta Falcons. And we know that Bud Dupree is not much of a pass rushing threat. He had like a sack and a half a game ago. I think he has 2 sacks on the season, but you can neutralize him. The Falcons pass rush continues to be a problem. It's been a problem for years. You can get away. This should not be a problem. The NPF thing makes it an interesting experiment, but this should not be a problem. So, but still, I'm still listing as a key because if Levis were for some reason to get hurt, okay, everyone's going to lose their minds. Like literally everyone is going to lose their minds. It'll be a disaster, an absolute disaster. But I think if you just protect him, he's going to sit in the pocket and he can make throws. My problem with Levis is when he gets pressured, he can force throws, he can rush throws, he can cause interceptions. If you give him protection, he's normally fine. So just protect him at all costs. Number two, neutralize the Falcons' run game. This is huge. The Falcons, as we all know, if you've paid any attention to them, They are very hampered by the quarterback Desmond Ridder and that passing game. They want to run the ball with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. That's what, and with Desmond Ridder too. They're not really interested in throwing the ball down the field. You have to force them to throw to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. You have to force them to do so. And then outside of that, I mean, they only have they traded for Van Jefferson, who's still working his way in, and Matt Collins, who can do some things, but not much. So they're very vertically challenged. Okay, if you are able to neutralize their run game and force Desmond Ridder into 3rd and longs, or even like 3rd and 8 plus, 3rd and 7 plus, obviously passing situations, he struggles. And he's had some more success with that lately, but not that I'm buying. I mean, he even had a couple turnovers at the goal line last week too, that were concerning. So Ridder's still figuring it out. So by the way, this is awful. I mean, like it's been pretty bad. Like people say he actually is Mariota light. I think Mariota's better. Maybe not now. I think Mariota's washed mentally now. I don't think Mariota ever looked as bad as Ridder looks. I'm serious about that. Even in, 2017, where he had like 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Okay, that was pretty bad. Obviously on paper too. I don't think he looked this bad. He looks really bad. And at least in Mariota's defense there, we had at the time, it was, by the way, was that 2018 I'm thinking of? Where he had 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Might be 2018. Yeah, at the time, though, he didn't have A.J. Brown yet. He literally just had Corey Davis, if I'm remembering that correctly. And then, like, Delaney Walker was on his last legs. Yeah, it should have been 2017, because I should have been in London for that playoff game. But, yeah, you know what year I'm talking about. So, I'm curious now. It's going to bother me if I can't get it exactly right. But yeah, I think he's worse. I think definitively, I don't think he's ever going to look as good as Mariota looked at his best. I just don't believe in Ridder at all. This is a crazy experiment that these guys are doing. I mean, he's even better than Ridder last year. At least Mariota last year had 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Right now, Ridder has 6 and 6. And yeah, it was 2017. And then next year, he had 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and then he got injured. I just don't believe in this at all. It's just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. It's literally the same thing. They're just running what we ran back in the day. So just limit the run game and then no turnovers. And now we have the rookie in there and Will Levis. So again, protect him so that way he doesn't turn the ball over, but no mistakes from Henry, Spears, etc. And yeah, so guys, again, when I started looking at this, and then I looked at their, like, you follow the NFL. I don't watch every game. I don't have that much time anymore like I used to back in the day. But especially to sit down and watch tape. But I just was studying the Falcons. It was like, this is a very vulnerable team. And just look at who they've beaten. They've beaten the 0-6 Panthers by 2 touchdowns. They beat the Packers by 1 point. Packers are not good. They're 2-4. They're not good. They beat the Buccaneers, who are not good. You saw how bad they looked on Thursday. They were lucky enough to cover the spread. And then they beat, I think it was, who else? The Texans by 2 points at home. And the Texans have been better than we thought. But what the hell is that? Then they lost by 2 touchdowns to the Lions and to the Jaguars. What is that? So they haven't had an impressive victory. And for all the hell you can give us, we've had an impressive victory. Our 27-3 victory against the Bengals, you can say Joe Burrow was hurt, whatever. That was impressive regardless. Period. Now, our 27-3 loss against the Browns was very not so. But it was impressive, period. We showed a lot of fight and moxie against the LA Chargers here in Nashville. We've been playing well at home, and we're at home. So it's funny, after trading Bayern and everyone bringing the tanks out, guys, I have us winning this game. And it would be 100, or at least 99%. If Tannehill and Bayern were out there, I would say 99%. But regardless, I think now I'm at 60%. I feel pretty strongly about this. I did not think I was going to feel this strongly about this. And by the way, this is coming from someone who picked the Falcons to win this division. And their division. And they're still going to win their division. Because I'm looking at this is how bad their division is, though. And how bad their schedule is. So the next week they face the Vikings. They could win. They're at home. They go to the Cardinals. That's a win. They host the Saints. To me, that's a win. They host the Buccaneers later. That's a win. They go to the Panthers. That's a win. They face the Colts. They face the Bears. They face the Saints. Now, these aren't going to be wins, but literally of the rest of their schedule, okay, including us, okay, let's actually include us. So there's how many games left? They have already played 7. There are 10 games left. Is there one team? There is not one team on their schedule that has a winning record. The only one that has a 500 record is the Jets. They have the easiest schedule I think I've ever seen. So it's just like they're still going to win 8-9 games and win the division. But we're going to expose them a little bit here because we've been battle tested. We've faced the Ravens, who I have winning the Super Bowl. We faced the Bengals, although you can call them hampered, but I think they're going to bounce back. We faced the Browns, who have been a sneaky team, a tough team to face. The Chargers, who I know they're 2-4, they're going to always come back later and end up doing fine. That's their move. We're more battle tested. And I think it's going to show in Nashville, Will Levis's debut. So some people are also going to be curious about this. So by the way, score, I have the Titans winning this game. I'm going to say 22-19. Actually, to 20. 22 to 20. That's my final prediction on that. And then when it comes to my Will Levis stat line, so this is what I'm expecting. I would say, and I'm thinking about this, I tweeted this specifically, 16 of 26. Maybe I need to up that a little bit, but I won't. 16 in terms of like the number of. Maybe I should. Okay, I'll up it a little bit. I'll amend my tweet a tiny bit. I'll say 18. I'll say 18 of 28. Yeah, it seems about right. 201 yard, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Pretty good debut. I think he's going to do all right. And again, remember, when we drafted him, I never said he was going to be a flat-out bust. I just don't think he's definitively a franchise quarterback. I think he is, I think I equated him to let me think of a modern example of where I can project his career. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. And again, he could develop. I mean, it just depends, whenever he gets in there and how he develops. I currently see him as a... He can go anywhere from a Baker Mayfield type of trajectory career. Maybe he could be a little worse than that, actually. But hell, he could be Zach Wilson for all we know. Okay, he can go anywhere from Zach Wilson to Baker-ish is how I feel like he probably will be, And then upside for me is Stafford. If things really go well, Stafford. But that's the best. It's not gonna be better than Matthew Stafford. And that I'm talking about Lion Stafford. It's not gonna be better than Matthew Stafford. That's the best you're looking for. I have a feeling it's gonna be Baker-ish. There was a season where Baker was really good after rookie year, and then sophomore year, and then he's gone after 4 years. That's been my analysis. We'll see, but I think it's going to be a good debut for him, and what a ride we have ahead of us. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on my preview and prediction for the Tennessee Titans against the Atlanta Falcons. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. Time to float. I'm out. See you all later.